Hello everyone, welcome back again to my channel. How are you guys doing? So today I'll be showing you how I make this beautiful rounded beaded bag. Very beautiful and elegant. So I have here my pearls on my table, 8mm, and I'll be using this to make some line to go along with the pearls. This beautiful color, okay? This is what I'll be using. So this bead is also, this one is also 8mm. I have my fishing line over here in 50 pound. This is the thickness of it. This is my ply I'll be using to cut any loose thread. So this is the thickness of the fishing line, the 50 pound, okay? Let's get started. So we are going to start with 6 bead. I'm going to string all 6 bead on the line. A string, put all 6 bead on the line. You have it like this, and now I'm going to hold this line and go to the last bead and pull like this. Now we have a little ring over here. We are going to continue. So my left line, I put 5 bead on the line, and I'm going to cross my other line into the last bead and pull. Then we have something like this. You see this ring has 6s in each, so I'm going to go to the next bead. Going through the next bead. Now I have 2. My line is in 2 bead. I'm going to add on this line 4 bead, and now in beading they call this 2 common 6. So this is 4. I add on my line, and I'm going to cross my other line into the last bead and pull. This is how the shape is looking like, okay? This line into the next bead. I'm going to go through this bead over here, and I'm going to add 4 bead to my line. 4 bead. I'm crossing the other line into the last bead and pull. This line into the next bead. Go to the bead and pull. That is 4 bead, okay? Add 4 bead and cross the other line into the last bead and pull. Now I'm going to go to this line into the next bead. I'm going to go to this line. I'm going to go to this bead right here. This one. And I'll be adding 4 bead. Yes, 4 bead on my line. I'm going to cross my other line into the last bead and pull. Let me pull all this bead away, and we get a clear table and work with. So I'm going to go through middle and the side with these 2 bead over here. And this is how the thread is looking like in the bead. It's in 3 bead, okay? My line is in 3 bead, and the number of bead I'm going to add 3 bead to complete this first step. So this line into the next bead. Okay, now I'm going to continue with my pink bead, okay? I'm going to go around the pink bead, and this round is going to take 6 5 6 5. So I'm starting with 4 bead, okay? 4 bead. The count in a ring is going to be 6 5 6 5. So I start with 6, and now this line into the next bead. I'm going to add 3 bead, okay? The first ring, when you count the ring, we have 6, and now this new one I'm making is going to count 5 in the ring. You see, 5. Okay, this line into the next bead, into the next 2 bead, the next 2, and we'll be adding 3 bead to make 6 in the ring. And now I'm going to go through the next with this line into this only 1 bead, okay? 1 bead over there. And I'll be adding 3 bead to make the count of 5. Now into the next 2 bead. I'll be adding 3 bead. I'm going to go to the next bead and add 3 bead. Into the next 2 bead, these 2 bead, okay? 3 bead. Now I'm going to go through the 1 bead in the corner over here. And I'll be adding 3 bead. 3. I put 3 bead on the line. Okay, so let's continue. This is how the shape is looking like. Into the next 2 bead, I'm adding 3 bead. This stage is 6 5 6 5, so when you see the pink around this shape, you know we put 6 5 6 5 around the shape. Okay, so into the next bead, 3 bead. I'm going to go through the next 2 bead. Three bead. Okay, now this line into the middle bead, I'm going to go through all these 3 bead over here, this and this one. I'm going to go through the pearl and the pink bead on the side like this. Now my line is in 3 bead. Okay, my line is in 3 bead. Look at how the shape is looking rounded, very beautiful already. It's in 3 bead, 1 2 3. This over here, that is where my line is. So this stage, I'm going to end this stage with only 2 bead. Okay, I'm going to end with 2 bead. If you are ending in 3, that means you didn't take the right number of bead you have to complete this section with. So this is 3, and now this section is complete and we have to continue. I'm going to continue this line. I'm going to weave back into the bead because it's very short, so I'm going to weave this line back into the bead, make it secure before I continue with a new fresh line. I'm just weaving the rest of the line back into the bead and trim it off. Okay, just trim trim, and now I'm cutting a new line, then we start a new stage again. So I'm going through this bead over here, and I'm adding 3 beads to my line, cross and pull. I'm going to go to the next bead. On this stage we are making 4 flower beading, okay, 4 flower beading. That's what we are making. I start with 3 and we are going to continue. Go to the next bead and add 2 beads. Into the next bead, add 2 beads. I'm going to go to the next bead again, and I'll be adding 2 beads. Into the next bead, 2 beads. The next bead. I'm adding 2 beads to my line. And I'm adding 2 over here too. So this is what we are going to continue round the shape and complete. And this is how it's looking like halfway done. We are almost there, and I'm going to continue to complete this section. 2 and cross and pull. Go to the next bead. Add 2 beads to your line and cross and pull. So now we are on the last one. I'm going to go through this bead and the side one, the pearl. I'm going to go to the pink bead in the middle over here and the pearl on the side. And now the number of beads I need over here is only 1 bead, 1 pearl, okay? Only 1. Now I'm going to cross the other line into the bead and pull. So this stage 2 is complete. This is 4 flower beading, okay? And now we are going to continue again. So we are going to continue with 4. I add 4 beads to my line, and I'm going to cross the last bead and pull. Now I'm going to go to the next bead. On this stage we are making 5, 5, 5 in a circle, okay, 5 counts of bead in the circle. 3 beads. I'm going to go to the next bead and I'll be adding 3 beads. This line into the next bead. Three bead. I'm going to go to the next bead and add 3 bead. Into Into the next bead, I'm adding 3 beads. I'm going to continue the same way you to do yours. I'm going to the next bead and add 3 beads. Let's continue. Three bead. I'm going to go through the next bead. I'm adding 3 bead. Into the next bead again. Three bead. Into the next bead, and I'll be adding 3 bead. 3. So let's go round. I'm going to go round and complete. Now I'm about to complete. This is where my line is, so I'm going to go to the last bead, okay? This last bead in the middle over here, and I'm going to go through the bead on the side. Now my line is in 3 bead, and I'll be adding 2 bead to my line to complete this section. I add 2 bead, okay, not 3, but end this step with 2 bead. So I'm going to continue with this orange bead to continue the next step, okay? And now my line, I'm going to go through the next bead. Like this. Now my line is in 2 bead, okay? My line is in 2 bead. This is where my line is, in 2 bead, all right? These 2 bead, I have my line in, and I'm going to continue with 4 bead. I'm going to go through the next 2 bead, this one, next 2, okay? I go through 2 bead, and I'm adding 3 bead. Into the next 2 bead, I'll be adding 3 bead. 3 bead. I'm going to go through the next 2 bead. And I'm adding 3 bead. For this stage, we are going to make 6 6 in a ring, okay? Into the next 2 bead, I'm adding 3 bead. Next 2 bead, sometimes the holes of these beads are blocked. You have to push hard before your line can go through. So I added 3 bead over here, okay? Now I'm going to go through the next 2 bead. Go through 1, and now this is the second one, pull, and I'll be adding 3 bead over here. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit faster over here. Into the next 2, add 3 bead. Into the next 2, add 3 bead. Next 2 bead, 3 bead. Going to go to the next 2, 3 bead. So let's go round and complete. Now I'm on the last stage. I'm going to go through the last 2 bead over here and the side bead to complete this stage. I'm going to go through my last 2 bead over here that is left. This is the first and the second. I'm going through. Then I'm going to go through. I'm going to go through the orange bead. So this is where my line is in this 4 bead over here, okay? My line is in the 4 bead, this and 2 pearls and the side one. This 4 bead over here, my line is in 4 bead. So the number of bead I'm adding here to complete this stage, 2 bead. Like this. And now with this stage, you can decide to leave it like this and continue, or to make it a little wider for you, I'm going to add 1 more stage to it. So let's do 1 more stage, which is, let's start with 3. We are going to do 4 beading over here. This is the last stage, okay, to make it a little wider. But if you don't want it wider, you can stop at this stage and then complete your bag. I'm going to the next bead and I'll be adding 2 bead. Bead. I'm going to go to the next bead add 2 bead. Into the next bead, not the next 2 but only 1 bead. Add 2 bead. Over here we are doing 4 flower beading on this stage. Go to the next bead and add 2 bead. Like this. Into the next 2 bead. I'm going to go to the next bead and I'm going to add 2 bead. Only 2 bead. Into the next I'm adding 2 bead over here to the line. So this is what we'll be doing all around this shape, okay? At this stage you are going to add, go through 1 bead and add 2 bead to the line. That's how you make this section, you make the bag wider. If you want a little bit wider, this is what you do. Okay, now we are going to go round and complete this shape. So here I'm about to complete. I'm going through my next bead, going through this bead, and I'll be adding 2 beads. I add 2 beads to my line. So now I'll be going through my last bead. I'm going through the orange bead in the middle over here and the pearl on the side, this one. I'm going to go through the orange first, then I'll go through the pearl. Okay, now my line is in 3 beads. You see, it's in 3 beads over here. That's where my line is. And the number of beads that I need over here, 1 bead. I'm using 1 bead to complete this stage. And so all the steps are done. We just have to do the side. So let's continue to build on this one. I'm adding 3 to the line. Okay, this is where we are going to build and do the side. So I'm going to go through the next bead, this line into the next bead. What I'm doing over here is I'm just building on it, okay, to make the side of the bag. I'm going to go through the next bead. This line, this is how it's looking like. Okay, I'm building on it. We are just building on it to make the side of the bag. So I'm adding 2 beads to my line. This stage is 4 flower beading. That's what we are going to do over here, 4 flower beading. Okay, so I'm going through the next bead and I'll be adding 2 beads. Going through the next bead, add 2 beads. Into the next bead, 2 beads. I'm adding 2 beads to my line. Into the next bead, 2 beads. So this is what we are going to weave around the shape and turn again to build another layer. Now I'm about to turn to make another layer. I'm going to add on my right line, this line, 2 beads. That way I can turn my line and build on it 1 row. So I'm adding 2 beads to my right line and I'm crossing it with my left line, so I can continue my beading. So here is the entrance that we are going to make for the bag. So I'm leaving 8 beads, okay? I'm leaving 8 over here. So I'm just going to build up and leave that shape over there. Let's continue this line, 3 beads. I'm going to make another layer over here. I'm going to go through the next bead and add 2 beads. Into the next bead. We are just building on what we have, 2 beads, okay? So we can have a side for the bag. And this is how it's looking like. So I'm going to continue around the shape until you complete. This is how it's looking like. So continue round and you meet over here. I'll do mine off camera, okay? This is how the shape is looking like. This is how it's looking like. I build one more layer on it, and this is what you should have if you complete this stage. So we are going to do this, and we have to do 2 of these, okay? If you do this, you have to do another one again, 2 of this. You need 2, and this is the second one that I made. And we are just going to put these 2 pieces together and attach them together. I'm going to attach these 2 pieces together, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to attach these 2 pieces. This is my line, and I'm going to use this orange bead, okay? Orange and the pink that I use, I'm going to use it round to put these 2 pieces together. So I'm going to go through this edge bead over here. I'm pulling my line through the edge bead like this. Then I'll be adding 1 bead to my line. I'm picking this orange, add it to my line, and then I'm going to use this edge to go through the other piece on the opposite side. I'm going to go through the other bead on the opposite piece, okay? The same bead on the opposite piece like this. Then I'm going to use 1 bead to cross both ends of my line into it and pull down like this. And I'm going to go through the next bead. I'm going to use this line to go through the next bead. Then my left line too, I'm going to hold it and go through the next bead, this one, into the next bead on the opposite side, okay? Like this. And now I'm going to use 1 bead, cross both ends of my line into it and pull. I'm going to hold the line again and go through the next bead. Right line into the right piece, left line into the right bead piece, like this. Take 1 bead, cross both ends of your line into it, pull. Now go through the next bead. And I'm going to go through the next piece on the opposite side. I'm crossing both ends of my line into this bead and pull. Okay, this is what we are going to repeat. Repeat the same thing round the shape and complete it. Let me do it one more time. I'll go through the bead on both sides. Now take 1 bead and cross both ends of your line into it and pull. This is how it's going to look like. So you go round the shape until you complete, and this is mine. This is how I complete. This is mine. I completed. Over here I ran out of bead, the orange bead, so I just used the pearl to complete it. Just use the pearl over here because I ran out of bead. And this is how the shape is looking like. Very beautiful. The side is wide enough and it's looking so beautiful and pretty. And now what is left is we have to put a lid on it. So we are going to start making the lid. This is my line. I'm going to pull it through this bead over here. And I'm going to add 3 beads to my line. So starting with 3 beads. The lid is going to be 4 flower beading, okay? So I start with 3 beads, and we are going to continue to make this lid with 4 flower beading. Into the next bead, two bead. I'm crossing my line into the bead and pull. I'm going to go to the next bead. This bead, I'm going through it, the next bead, and and I'll be adding 2 beads. I add 2 beads to my line. I'm going to go through the next one. Two beads. So I'm going to turn over here. I'm going to go through the next bead with my right line, and I'll be adding 2 beads to my right line. This line, 2 beads. That way, this is 2 beads I add to the line. That way I can turn and continue my weaving. So I'm going to start again, 3 beads. I add 3 beads to my line, cross with the other line and pull. Let's continue. I'm going to go to the next bead, 2 beads. Into the next bead, 2 beads. I'm going to go through the next bead, and this is how we are going to continue, 2 beads. Go through the next bead and add 2 beads to the right line and turn so you can continue your weaving. So now the line turn, I'm going to continue again with another row. Three beads. Going to continue into the next bead. So this is how the lead is looking like. This is what we are going. I'm just weaving the rest of this line into the bead to make it well secured because the line is short. I'll be using a fresh new line to start another row. So this is how the lead is looking like. We are going to make it long to our desired length, okay? So I'm going to continue to make it long. And this is the lead I completed. I make about 8 rows. So what I want us to do over here is I want us to put a closure on it, on the lid, okay? So that anything you put in the bag will not fall off, will not open and then fall off from the bag. So here's what we are going to use, a button. Just a simple button we are going to use. It's just a regular button. If you have a white button, any button that like that, you can use it. So this is what I have in my stash, and this is what we are going to use to attach to the bag. Very simple. I'm going to measure this and know where to put it. So I'm going to attach this as a lock for the bag. Here's my line. I'm going to go through. First you have to measure, okay? So we are going to measure where we want the lock to be. So I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to use the 3rd bead down here. Yeah, that one. I'm going to attach it on the 3rd one. It's too close. You have to measure wherever you want to put it, okay? Measure it and then do it nicely. So we are going to attach it to this bead over here. I'm going to pull my line through the bead. And I'm going to add 2 beads to my line. I'm going to add 2 beads to each end of my line like this. Add 2. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to cross both ends of my line into this button over here. It's a very pretty button. Very pretty, very beautiful. So cross the line into the button and pull. As I pull, you will see that everything is coming to place, okay? You see? It's going to land perfectly where you want it to be. So just measure where you want your button to be. I'm going to open it like this and go around the bead that I put over there. So I'm going to go around those beads. I'm going to go through all the 5 beads over there. I'm going to open it for you guys to see what I'm doing, okay? Go to round the bead, okay? So I'm going through all the bead over here. I'm going to go through all this bead. I'm going to go through the bead on the back, the pink bead. And I'll go through and I'll hold the other line and go through the last 2 beads over there. One, and I go through the 2. So I'm going to pull together, and now everything lands perfectly in place, okay? I'm going to tie over here. Tie nice and neat. And pull tight, tie. Then the rest of this line, I'm going to tie. You can tie about 3 times or 2 times, whatever you prefer, okay? Just make it secure and make it nice. The rest of this line, I'm just going to weave it back into the bead and then trim the rest off. So with the lead over here, we have 5 rows. So we are going to attach a loop to it. Alright, I'm going to attach it to the middle bead over here. I'm going to go through this one. I'm crossing my line into this bead. I'm coming down through this bead over here. And the other line, I'm going to come through the opposite of that bead, this one. Then I'm going to cross both ends of my line into the middle bead. Just crossing, okay? The other line, hold it, cross it onto the opposite direction, cross, okay? So this is what we have. Your lines should be opposite each other, like this. They have to face opposite direction. And now we are going to string bead on the line. I'm using 6mm bead over here, like this. Okay, don't cross like this to measure. You have to put it on to see if that is enough bead for you. So cross into 1 bead, pull tight. You pull. That one is tight enough before you measure, okay? So here, I'm just going to go around this bead with string and then tie. So I'm going to cross this line into the bead over here onto the same side, like that. So what I'm going to do, you see how round and nice this loop is? The loop is very beautiful and rounded, okay? So try it again to see if it fit on, like this, pretty and beautiful. I'm going to open it and weave the rest of the line into my bead, my bag. Then I tie and trim the rest of the line off, just weaving the rest of the line into the bag. So now that I have my 2 lines on the same place, I'm just tying over here. I'm going to tie. Then the rest of the line, I weave it back into the bead and trim it off. So let's put this on try. Okay, it fits perfectly. Very beautiful, very nice, elegant. Look at how this bag is looking so beautiful already. Beautiful, pretty, very elegant. It has a closure, so if you put something in it, it's not going to open and fall out. So this is a key ring I'm going to attach to the bag over here. Just a simple key ring, okay? This is DIY. No expensive. You can decide to put it on top of it, on the lid, or I'm going to attach it to this bead over here on the bag. So you'll be a little firmer. This bead, I'm pulling my line through the bead, and I'm going to add one bead on the line. So I add one bead on the line like this, okay? And I'm going to use the third bead and cross my line into it and pull. So again, I'm going to repeat the same thing again, okay? One bead on each line. Then we are going to cross both ends of our line into the third bead and pull. Then we are going to repeat the same. I'm going to repeat, pull one bead on each line like this. Then what I'm going to do here, this is how it's looking like, one bead, okay? I'm going to pull my line through the ring. Then I'm going to hold both ends into the next bead over there, the orange bead. I'm crossing both ends of my line into the orange bead and pull. Pull through. Yeah, now we got it. So pull, okay? You're going to pull and pull tight. Now the rest of this line, I'm going to weave it a little bit into the bead. I'm going to weave it, have both ends of my line at one place and tie. So I'm going to cross this one too into this bead. And now that I have both ends at one place, I'm tying it, tie neat. And I'm going to weave the rest of the line into the bead and pull. There you have it, guys. I'm just going to slide the handle into this ring. There you have it. This is the beautiful, elegant, gorgeous beaded bag we have ever made. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel, and also share this video with everybody who will find this tutorial helpful. Thank you all for joining me again. See you guys in my next video. Bye.